All right, so we're going to use our technology today to find our sine, cosine, and tangent because there's lots of different angle measures. And although we made a table for some of the commonly used angle measures, um, normally in the old days, of course, we used a big table that, we had like a book of sine, cosine, and tangent that we'd look up. But today we have our technology and our calculators. So on your iPad, you should have a MCA calculator. It's a red icon like this. And when you press it, it'll open up like a practice MCA test, and you can select a basic calculator, a scientific calculator. We're going to choose the graphing calculator. And then you're going to pretend like you're starting a practice test. So we hit start. And then up at the top, there will be an icon for a calculator, and we can select that. So the first thing I want you to notice is that you can put in things like sine. The sine, cosine, tangent are in the middle. So those ratios your calculator is set up to do. So if I press sine of 30 degrees and I hit enter, I get this negative 0.988. And that's not right. Now, you're not going to necessarily remember whether an answer for a sine, cosine, or tangent is correct or not. So what you need to remember is that there are two different ways to measure angles. And one way is measured in degrees, which is the traditional way, but there's also this thing called radians, and mathematicians often use radians for angles. Just like if you can convert between the two of them, just like I could convert between inches and feet. If in my dreams I was 6 feet tall, right? I'm shorter than that, but if I was 6 feet tall, and I told you that I was 6 inches tall, that would be a very different thing. Same thing for radians and degrees. If you go to put in 40 degrees in your calculator, but your calculator is expecting radians, it's going to give you the wrong answer. And so, just as an aside, by the way, one circle, which is 360 degrees, has 2 times pi radians, and that's the conversion factor. We're not going to bother converting or even dealing with radians, other than the fact to know that you got to set your calculator. So let's go back to the calculator. So here's my calculator. And the way you set it is you're going to go to this mode key up at the top left of your calculator. Lots of adjustments here, but you just need to go down until you get to radians. You can see that that's highlighted because that's what my calculator is set at. So I'm going to go over to degrees, select degrees. Now my calculator is expecting when I put in an angle measure, it's going to be in degrees. And so I can go and I can press sine of 30 degrees, and I'm going to get the correct answer, which is 1/2, which is what we had in our tables that we made. So you can also do cosine. So we could do cosine of 30 degrees, and I could do tangent of 30 degrees. And so that would give me those are the correct answers. So notice that you're going to have to do some rounding usually, because many times these are long decimal numbers. And so when using sine, cosine, and tangent, I'm thinking about how accurate you need to be and what amount of rounding you need to do is something that has to be in your mind. All right, so we're going to try this and see how it works.